Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the course of heat transfer. In today's class, we will discuss the next portion of your syllabus, that is transient heat conduction. Transient heat conduction is also called as unsteady state of heat conduction or heat transfer. Now we have discussed what do you mean by unsteady state of heat transfer. Let me repeat, it is nothing but the heat transfer will be varying with the lapse of time. I mean to say, if you measure heat transfer at time t, and if you measure the heat transfer from the same surface after lapse of say 10 minutes, the amount of heat transfer will not be as same as the previous. It goes on changing. It may increase or decrease, but it will not be the same. Now, such type of heat transfer is termed as unsteady state or transient heat conduction or heat transfer. To give some examples, it could be cooling of IC engines, it could be heating and cooling of metal bodies, heat transfer by metals out of quenching, cooling and freezing of food materials. This could be some examples. Now again, the transient heat conduction can be classified into two groups. One is non-periodic variation and the one is periodic variation. The name itself suggests non-periodic variation. It means that the transfer of heat will vary non-linearly with time. It will be varying non-linearly with time, or it will not follow the cyclic path. To give some examples, heating of ingots in a furnace, cooling of bars, blanks, and metal billets in steelworks, various heat treatment processes could be example for non-periodic variation. Now, what is periodic variation? It is nothing but the temperature undergoes periodic changes. They may be either regular or irregular, but they will definitely follow certain cyclic path. If you see the examples, cylinder of an IC engine. Now you may ask how. If you consider a 4-stroke internal combustion engine, after combustion, the temperature will be high. It performs the power stroke, then exhaust, later comes suction. Now during suction, the temperature will be less because all the exhaust gas will be pulled out of the engine. So the temperature will be less compared to the combustion stroke. Now this keeps happening on a regular basis. I mean to say, in suction stroke, all the time the temperature will be low, and in combustion stroke, all the time temperature will be high. Now this will follow a circular or a cyclic process. Another example could be surface of Earth during 24 hours. We can see in the afternoon around 2 to 3 the temperature will be very high, and in the night around 2 to 3 a.m. it is very low. In 24 hours the temperature of the Earth surface will follow the same. So this could be an example for periodic variation. One more example could be heat processing of tree generators. Now we will derive an expression for temperature distribution in case of lumped system in terms of dimensionless parameters. Now before derivation, first we will understand what is a lumped system. If you go by the meaning of lump, it is nothing but a collective mass of some material which may have a regular or irregular shape. Now when to apply a lump system analysis? Now in lump system analysis, the internal conductive resistance, this term we have discussed already many a times. So this is nothing but the conductive resistance. So if the conductive resistance is very small or negligible in comparison with the convective resistance, then we can apply a lump system analysis. Now we will come across a non-dimensional number called as Biot number, which is defined as the ratio of conductive resistance to convective resistance. And if this ratio is less than 0.1, then we can apply lump system analysis. Now if you see, when a Biot number will be less than 0.1, if the conductive resistance is less than the convective resistance, because this is in numerator and the convective resistance is in denominator. If denominator is more than the numerator, you will be having a value which is less than 1 or less than 0.1 or even equals to 1. In that case, you can apply lump system analysis. So if Biot number is less than 0.1, then only we can apply the lump system analysis. Now let us understand the derivation part of this. Now I have considered a lump system which is a solid mass, compacted solid mass. It is having a volume V, surface area A, the thermal conductivity of the solid mass is K, density of the solid mass is rho, specific heat of the solid mass is C, and temperature of the solid mass is T. Let T naught be the initial temperature. Now this solid mass is dropped into a fluid whose temperature is greater than the solid mass, then obviously the heat will transfer from the fluid to the solid. Let the fluid is at temperature T infinity and the convective heat transfer coefficient is H. Now again, by energy conservation, if a cold body is dropped into a hot fluid, obviously the heat will transfer to the solid body and the fluid will lose heat. The rate of heat flow into the solid volume V is equals to increase in internal energy of the solid volume. It is obvious when heat is given to the solid body, the internal energy obviously will increase. Now if you write the expression for the same, the heat flow into the solid volume is given by convective heat transfer, that is HA into T infinity minus T. Here T infinity is greater and T is smaller. This is the solid body temperature, this is the fluid temperature. It is equals to increase in internal energy, which is nothing but mc into dt by dt. Now if you replace m by rho into v, because density is mass by volume, mass is nothing but density into volume. So HA into T infinity minus T will be equals to rho V into C dt by dt. In some of the textbooks, he has considered the fluid to be at lower temperature and the body to be at higher temperature. In that case, the body will lose heat. So this will be added with negative sign. But in both the cases, we'll end up with the same expression. Now, if you separate the variables, so dt by dt is equals to HA divided by rho CV or rho VC into T infinity minus T. If you just change the variables, so dt divided by T minus T infinity, I have multiplied here with negative sign, is equals to minus HA divided by rho VC into dt. Again multiply this also by minus sign. If you integrate the above expression, integration of dt by t minus t infinity is nothing but ln of t minus t infinity is equals to minus HA into rho VC T plus C1, where C1 is the constant. You call this equation as 1. If you apply the initial boundary conditions, that is at T equals to 0, the temperature is Ti. Now you substitute T equals to 0 here, and this temperature T is equals to Ti over here in equation 1. You will be having ln of Ti minus T infinity is equals to minus HA divided by rho VC multiplied by 0, because you have substituted T is equals to 0 plus C1. Now this term goes to 0. You will be having C1 equals to ln of Ti minus T infinity. It can be Ti or T naught, no variation. Now if you substitute the value of C1 in equation 1, ln of T minus T infinity is equals to minus HA divided by rho VC into T plus ln of T naught minus T infinity, where T naught is the initial temperature. If you do some algebra, you will have ln of t minus t infinity minus ln of t naught minus t infinity is equals to minus ha divided by rho vc into t. Now this is ln a minus ln b. I can write it as ln of a by b. Similarly, ln of t minus t infinity divided by ti minus t infinity is equals to minus ha divided by rho vc into t. Now what is this t here? It is time. Now if you take the ln t minus t infinity divided by t naught minus t infinity is equals to e to the power minus ha divided by rho vc multiplied by time. So this is the temperature variation for one-dimensional transient heat conduction. If you consider the expression minus ha divided by rho vc multiplied by time, I can express this in terms of two non-dimensional numbers. One is Biot number, and the one is Fourier number. Now, if you consider minus ha divided by rho vc multiplied by t, I will divide and multiply this term with ka into v. Multiply this term and divide by K, A and V, where K is the thermal conductivity, A is the area, V is the volume. You will be having H LC by K multiplied by alpha LC square into T, where alpha is thermal diffusivity. We have seen that K by rho C, this term can be written as alpha. Now HA divided by rho VC multiplied by T can be written as the product of Biot number and Fourier number. Now HLC by K, this is nothing but a Biot number, and alpha T divided by LC square, this is nothing but a Fourier number. Now we have discussed a Biot number is nothing but the ratio of conductive resistance to convective resistance. Now here we come across one more term, that is characteristic length, which is volume divided by surface area. Now characteristic length will be considered while solving the problems. If you see, as I explained, HA divided by rho CV into T can be written in terms of Biot number as well as Fourier number, where Biot number is HLC by K and Fourier number is alpha T divided by LC square, where LC is nothing but characteristic length. As I explained, Biot number is nothing but the ratio of conduction resistance to surface convective resistance. Now if you write the conductive resistance as L over Ka upon convective resistance as 1 over Ha, A in the numerator as well as denominator will get cancelled. You end up with an expression which is HLC by Q. Now, as I said, if Biot number is less than 0.1, the lumped heat capacity approach can be used. Then Fourier number, it signifies the degree of penetration of heating or cooling. It means how depth the heat has reached in a solid body for a given process. Now we will discuss some of the problems pertaining to unsteady state. The problem goes like this. An average convective heat transfer coefficient for flow of 90 degrees Celsius air over a flat plate is measured by observing the temperature time history of 40 mm thick copper slab. The properties of the copper slab are density 9000 kg per meter cube, specific heat P80 joules per kg Kelvin, thermal conductivity 370 watt per meter Kelvin or meter degree Celsius. Exposed to 90 degrees Celsius air, the initial temperature of the plate was 200 degrees Celsius, and in 4.5 minutes, the temperature decreased by 35 degrees Celsius. The heat transfer coefficient will be. And the question he has asked you to calculate the value of H. Now, if you see the temperature distribution for transient heat conduction is given by this expression T minus T infinity divided by Ti minus T infinity is equals to e to the power minus HA divided by rho Cv multiplied by time. Now in this expression, I'll explain each term one by one. So this T is nothing but the temperature to be found. T infinity is the fluid temperature. Ti is the initial temperature of the solid surface. T infinity fluid temperature again. H is convective heat transfer coefficient. As surface area. T is a time in seconds. Please note here, T is a time in seconds, not in minutes. Rho is the density of the solid material, specific heat of the solid material, volume of the solid material. Now in the problem, he has given the fluid, which is air, it is at a temperature of 90 degrees Celsius. The initial temperature is 200 degrees Celsius. You need to calculate the value of H after lapse of 4.5 minutes. So this should be converted in terms of seconds. Now if you see, after 4.5 minutes, the temperature decreased by 35 degrees Celsius. It means initial temperature was 200 degrees Celsius. After lapse of 4.5 minutes, the temperature is decreased by 35 degrees Celsius. Please note here, it is not decreased to 35, it is decreased by 35. Means you should deduct 35 out of 200. If it is decreased to 35 degrees Celsius, then this temperature could be 35. But in the problem, he has given the temperature decreased by 35 degrees Celsius. It means you should deduct 235 in 200, which gives you 165. Now again, as we have discussed, the characteristic length is given by volume upon surface area. Now, all the time you don't need to calculate volume and surface area separately. You have, for slab, the characteristic length is given by half of the thickness of the slab. For cylinder, it is radius divided by 2 or r by 2. For sphere, the characteristic length is given by r by 3. Now these values are calculated by putting the volume as well as surface area for slab, cylinder as well as sphere. Now you can consider the characteristic length directly for a given problem. If it is a slab, you take thickness divided by 2. If it is cylinder, radius divided by 2. If it is sphere, radius divided by 2. Now in our case, it is a slab or a plate. Now if you see, it is 40 mm thick. So I can consider characteristic length V by A as thickness divided by 2. Now I can write this as H into T divided by rho C. V by A is nothing but LC. So that comes in denominator. Now what is LC corresponding to this problem? So thickness divided by 2. Thickness is 40 mm divided by 2, 20 mm. Now the same has been taken here. So LC is 0.2 meters. Now as I told, the temperature should be in seconds. Hence 4.5 minutes is multiplied with 60, which is 4.5 into 60 seconds. Now the unknown is H here. Rest all the values are given. If you calculate the value of H, it comes out to be 96.9 watt per meter square Kelvin. Next, coming to the next problem. A thermocouple junction is in the form of 8 mm diameter sphere. Now here the problem is given on sphere and the diameter is 8 mm. This junction is initially at 40 degrees Celsius and inserted in a stream of hot air of 300 degrees Celsius. Find the time constant of the thermocouple. Now time constant is nothing but rho CV divided by H into AS. Now here volume divided by area, which is nothing but characteristic length. Now the characteristic length we should consider it for sphere. For sphere, as discussed earlier, the characteristic length is radius divided by 3. Now if you substitute the same, V by AS as R by 3, you will be having rho C into R divided by 3 times of H. We have replaced V by AS by R by 3. Now if you substitute the values, C is given as 420 joules per kg Kelvin. Rho is 8000 kg per meter cube. H value is given as 40 watt per meter square Kelvin. The thermal conductivity is also 40 watt per meter Kelvin. The problem is simple. If you calculate the time constant, it is also called as thermal time constant. It comes out to be 11.2 seconds. You can also elaborate the problem by considering the volume and surface area separately and calculate V by A. That also gives you the value of R by 3. The next problem, a 12 mm diameter mild steel sphere whose thermal conductivity is 42.5 watt per meter Kelvin is exposed to cooling air at 27 degrees Celsius, resulting in the convective heat transfer coefficient H is equals to 114 watt per meter square Kelvin. The time required to cool the sphere from 540 degrees Celsius to 95 degrees Celsius, when density is 7,850 kg per meter cube and specific heat 475 joules per kg Kelvin. In this problem, if you see, again it is given on sphere, thermal conductivity is given, the diameter is given. Now if you calculate the value of characteristic length LC, it is nothing but R divided by 3. Now 12 mm is the diameter, so 6 mm will be the radius. So 6 mm divided by 3, 2 mm is the value of LC. Next, it is exposed to cooling air which is at 27 degrees Celsius. This is nothing but the fluid temperature of T infinity. The value of H is 114. He has asked the time required to cool the sphere from 540 to 95. So it is different from first problem. What is the time required to cool the sphere from 540 degrees Celsius to 95 degrees Celsius? It means this is the initial temperature and this is the final temperature. So this is T value, this is Ti value, this is T infinity value. Now T minus T infinity divided by Ti minus T infinity is equals to e to the power minus Ha divided by rho Cv into T. Now the unknown is time. Now if you put the values as I discussed, so this is the expression for a transient heat conduction. So T minus T infinity divided by Ti minus T infinity is equals to e to the power minus Ha divided by rho Cv multiplied by time. Now you need to calculate the time wherein the final temperature of the sphere has reached 95 degrees Celsius when the fluid temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. The initial temperature is 540. Now if you write V by A as LC, now as it is a sphere, LC is nothing but R by 3. The value of radius is 6 mm because the diameter given is 12 mm divided by 3, which comes out to be 2 mm. Now this should be in SI unit, So 2 multiplied by 10 to the power minus meters. So C is 475 and rho is 7850. If you substitute the value, you will be getting the value of T as 132.14 seconds or 2.2 minutes. So please note here, sometimes in question paper or in problem, we may specify C in terms of kilojoules per kg Kelvin. In that case, you should again convert that to joules per kg Kelvin. In some cases, he may specify megajoules per kg Kelvin, convert it to kilojoules per kg Kelvin only. And time, he may specify in terms of minutes, you should convert it into seconds. Then only the calculation will be correct and you will get correct answer. With this, I will stop here. Thank you.